welcome to another episode of Casing the Cover, the show where we talk the good, the bad, and the stupid of book covers. I am Mary, and with me is my co-host, Jen.
Hello!
And this week we are doing a book review instead of a topic, and it's Jen's turn.
It's my turn!
So what did we do this week, Jen?
The Dalai Lama's cat.
Another book with an animal on the cover.
I like animals.
Have all of your books had animals on the cover?
So has one of yours.
One of mine.
And I guess that one really doesn't count as an animal because he was kind of a manimal.
It was a man who turned into an animal. His girlfriend was an animal.
Manimal.
So far you've had Fat Bob with the dog.
Yep.
And Invention of Everything with the pigeon.
Yes.
And now we have the Dalai Lama with a cat.
Yes.
All right.
And did you know the Dalai Lama might actually have a cat?
Doesn't the Dalai Lama have a cat?
I
that's
will
a fact.
talk about this later too. Yes.
Okay, well tell us about the cover of the Dalai Lama's cat.
Okay, the cover of the version that I had of the Dalai Lama's cat is a Persian cat.
Okay.
It's the fluffy cat. It looks like a Siamese but fluffy.
I like them.
And she's got really pretty blue eyes.
They're good cats.
They're cute
I like
cats.
them.
And it simply says the Dalai Lama's cat. And the cat is all cozy in like a pile of, I don't know, maybe blankets. I'm going to guess it's blankets. It's probably not the robes. It might be robes. I don't know. It could be robes.
I have a feeling this is going to turn into an episode where we just talk about how much we like cats.
It might.
Okay.
What, is that a problem? I don't think that's a problem.
Not for me. I mean, I am secure in my crazy cat lady.
So I'm going to actually start off with a question to the audience too. On the end of this, or after you listen, in the comments section or on our Facebook, I want to know how many cat lovers are out there.
And how many cats you have.
And how many cats you have.
See if you can beat Jen's record.
I have 6 cats, by the way.
I only have 4.
Okay, see, we are cat people.
Mm-hmm.
We like cat people. All right. So the Dalai Lama's cat actually has been published in 42... Wait, let me look again. Published in 42 editions.
Wow.
Yes. There are 42 editions. The edition I read is obviously in English. That is still currently my primary language.
Mm-hmm.
But it is in, I'm just going to go through a few of them. It's in Czech. It's in Romanian. It is in Dutch, Portuguese, Lithuanian, German, Croatian, Bulgarian, Estonian, Turkish, Spanish, Russian, Italian. I already said Czech.
There's 2 in Czech.
French. Did I say Hungarian? I don't think I said Hungarian. So. And let's see, a lot of different English ones. Oh, and Chinese. Slavic.
That's a lot of cats.
So it is published in a lot of different languages. And I think the reason why is because, giant spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1.
Shows all spoilers. For my weeks.
This is not just a book about a cat. This is a book about Buddhism. It is like Buddhism 101 through the eyes of a cat.
It's like Buddhism for dummies.
No, it's Buddhism for kitties.
Buddhism for kitties.
So,
very good.
It's a very easy read.
Okay.
It's a very easy read. And I think that the cat on the cover is adorable.
It's adorable.
And does match the description of the cat in the book, which I think is an important thing because, you know, we've had animals on covers of things and you're like, I think you've mentioned this, that why would you put that animal on there? That is not even the animal.
That's not the animal in the book.
That's not the animal in the book. And much like in Fat Bob, where the beagle is important, the type of cat it is important.
Okay.
So it's valuable. Also, I did find one picture of the Dalai Lama and his cat on the internet.
Is it the same kind of cat?
It is not the same kind of cat.
Oh, that's kind of disappointing.
It's not the same kind of cat. And I don't know if maybe like this is his most recent cat.
I would say, when was this book published?
This was in 2012. Or I think that's the earliest publishing date. Yeah,
he might have had a different cat.
He might have had a different cat at that point. So it's possible. Or maybe this picture was an old picture and this is his most recent cat.
Mm-hmm.
Or
it's just the author's cat and they wanted to put their cat on a bunch of book covers. No, they probably didn't have any say in that.
Yeah, he probably, I don't know. Or maybe that's just the prettiest cat they could find. Who knows? Or he decided he really likes this type of cat. I don't know. But either way, It is not the same type of cat as the one pictured with the Dalai Lama. So throughout the book, the cat is called HHC because it's His Holiness's cat. It's so cute.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I really like this book, and I really like the cover, and they do go together.
Oh, good.
So, and the other thing too to point out is that it's a photograph cover. So it is a picture of a real cat. So this real cat does exist.
Okay, now I know there are sequels to this book.
Yes.
Is it the same cat on all the covers?
It appears to be the same.
The same breed of cat?
Same breed of cat, yes. The other ones, hang on, now I gotta go back.
I'm wondering if they got a cat that was the right breed and posed it, or if they got a stock image of a cat.
It's a stock cat.
There's probably lots of stock images of cats.
So it looks very similar. I guess this one on The Art of Purring.
I hadn't seen that one before.
The Art of Purring is one of the other ones, and it's this cat looks a little darker in the face than the one on the first one.
But same breed.
Same breed.
What's the one that made me laugh?
The Power of Meow.
The Power of Meow. Yeah, that's the only one that's really punny. I mean, I guess The Art of Purring it's not as punny because it's not.
Well, I mean, again, I'm still very much of 101 about Buddhism too. I like a lot of the same concepts in Buddhism. I think that Buddhism is a great spirituality, and I put it in spirituality rather than religion because it is not as, at least from my perspective of things, it is not as dogmatically programmed like what falls into religion. I made noise.
We just got off work and someone's still wearing their badge and it's smacking the table.
Now it's on the floor. Okay.
I took mine off because I'm a professional.
Anyway, yes, we're recording from an undisclosed location. Anyway, Art of Purring. I don't see a cover art offhand. I probably should have had more of them at the ready, but
okay.
I was really focusing on this one's book cover. It's about this cat and how she learns about Buddhism.
Because she's the Dalai Lama's cat.
Because she's the Dalai Lama's cat.
Which is not misleading.
It's not. It's
a very
not,
straightforward title.
It is exactly what it says. It is a story about a cat who belongs to the Dalai Lama. So it's exactly what it says.
Do we prefer, as a group here, the two of us, this group that we're in, do we prefer titles that are straightforward, or do we prefer the artistic, or you like punny titles? I like good punny titles, and there are very few of those. Power of Meow is hilarious.
Yes, I found The Power of Meow.
The Art of Purring is not that.
And that one looks like it's the same cat.
Okay.
So she's also a very chunky cat.
She's a chubby cat.
It's a chunky
She's
cat.
a fluffy cat.
She's a very pretty cat.
See, it's just us talking about cats.
It is. It's totally just talking about cats. I'm not sorry. I'm not. Her being a pudgy cat is important too.
Why?
Because she learns a very powerful lesson in Buddhism because she eats herself into a butterball.
Oh my god.
And that is not to say that she eats herself into the inside of a butterball turkey.
No.
She's the Dalai Lama's cat, and that allows for certain privileges.
Mm-hmm.
Like she can walk down to the cafe, the Buddhist cafe, and she can walk down to she walks past a market or something, and everybody along the way feeds her.
Of course.
Everybody feeds her because everybody wants blessings from the Dalai Lama's cat. So the lesson here that she learns and she teaches is moderation.
Oh, okay. I want to know, how factual this is.
Right?
Because we know that, okay, so we believe he has a cat.
Yes.
Do you think, everyone actually is we need to feed his cat so that she'll like us?
I don't know, but
That's really cute.
And talking about how factual or not factual it is, I'm going to say, and my deepest apologies to the author if this comes off as offensive, but every author writes themselves into their books somehow. We all know this. We all do this. I am just as guilty of this as anybody else.
Aren't you literally the main character in your books?
I am literally the main character in one of my books, yes. One of...
At least you admit to it.
Not all of them. So lesson in Buddhism there, vanity. Totally just made Marius snarf for water. That's awesome.
Like, try not to cough. Instead, I'm gonna snort water.
Okay, so going back to authors writing themselves in, I looked at the back cover of this book and the picture of the author, and I got to tell you, not necessarily by physical description per se, but by mannerism and the demeanor by which this person portrays. The author, by the way, is David Michie, and he is an author on a lot of other Buddhist things. So Buddhism is his thing.
And the animal things.
And animal things. So there is a character who runs the cafe, and I really feel like this may have been our dear David Michie before he really fully embraced the meaning of Buddhism, because there's a lot of things about like this character that when you just look at the picture of the author, you're like, oh, that's him.
Oh.
Like, oh,
you're the guy making the cat fat.
Yes. So the cool thing too about this book is it just calls, now you'll notice that it doesn't actually say like the Dalai Lama's cat and give her name. She has several names in the book, and it's interesting because I think, and this is me totally reading into it, I'm not even sure because this was not an obvious lesson. A lot of it is pretty obvious. When you get to the end of the chapter, you're like, and the lesson was... Check. Check. I now learned this about Buddhism. Check. But I think it's about how we really inflict our own perceptions on others. And when it comes to a cat that doesn't have a name, and no one tells us the name of this cat, and you kind of put upon an animal or an inanimate object really your personality. So like this cafe owner calls her Rinpoche, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, which means precious. And he is.
Dainty little fat cat.
Yes. So, like, I feel like that was kind of the overarching lesson, because the people who name this cat, or by what they call the cat, is kind of, I feel like how they feel about themselves a little bit. There's another character in the book that calls the cat the most beautiful thing she's ever seen in the world. And this woman is she's a lot. She's beautiful, she's wonderful, and she's a good person at the core. But she's like, a little much. But she's much. And I just kind of feel like that was the little, if you caught it, that was the other lesson.
That's the lesson that you, the reader, is learning.
Yes, I'm reading way too much into it, and maybe
it sounds like a book that is meant to be read into, though. I mean, the whole point of the book is it's an allegory for these lessons of Buddhism, right?
Yes. But what's great about it is it's so easy to read.
Let me ask you a question. Does it read like a kid's book?
Not like a kid's book. It reads...
It sounds very much like this is the lesson of the week on the show that we're watching.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't read that way at all. The lessons are very... She does kind of wrap it up. Like, the cat has a voice. This isn't just like you're following around a cat and you're putting upon things. The cat is vocalizing her opinion on things.
So the cat's like the narrator?
The cat is the narrator.
Does that play off well?
Yeah, it's really good. No, I promise it's good.
Okay. Promise.
I promise it's really good. I wouldn't say that it reads like a children's book. It reads... It's a very easy read. It just, I guess it reads more like I don't even know what I would compare it to. It's just a very easy to understand book.
Okay. Does it look like a children's book?
No.
If you had seen that cover just sitting on a shelf somewhere and it wasn't categorized in a library like most of the books we read are, would you think that it was a children's book?
Not for a second.
No,
not for a second. I would think, I would look at it and be like, this is going to be a cute story about a cat.
Okay.
And I do. It's a cute story about a cat. And it doesn't... The other thing that's nice about the cover, and I think this is very much a Buddhist thing, it doesn't try to be anything.
No, like I said, it's very straightforward.
It is. It's straightforward. It's just, this is what the story's about, without being boring. Without being boring. The cover is very, very attractive cover. The colors are great. It's a great picture on the cover.
It's a cute kitty.
It's also very mellow. You kind of look at it and you're already calm.
Yeah.
It's very
muted, kind of like the cat's kind of the focus, and everything else is kind of like in the background.
Yeah, it's very faded out.
What do you have to say about the font, Jen?
Well, I
Font's
think
your favorite.
Fonts are my favorite, and the interesting thing is it's a more Eastern font-ish, but not to the extreme of like, oh my gosh, what am I reading? I think it also captures the Buddhism thing. I've noticed though that in the subsequent books, the font gets a little more flamboyant. It's like,
well, that's because the cat has embraced the power of meow.
I guess, but you'd think that she'd be getting less flamboyant. It just gets more flourishy. It's very flourishy. I actually think I like the first book and the font better.
Yeah.
Than the rest, because it's trying to be something it's not, the second ones. And I started I didn't read the other two. I might read the other two at some point in life, but I didn't read them yet, and I kind of I previewed them, and I think I will read The Art of Purring, because it is the continuing adventures of her, and they finish, I'm going to tell you how they end, the Dalai Lama's cat, because I don't really like to spoil my books. But they end it, and I was very curious what happens next to the cat.
Oh.
It is a positive thing.
Okay.
It's a very good thing.
They leave like the cat up a tree at the end.
No, it's a very good thing. But I really want to know what happens next, because I was like, oh, you can't end it there. You can't, I want to know.
What lesson does she learn next?
What lesson does she learn next? And I feel like so the big thing is, too, this is a kitten who she was found, and I think her back legs, or something happened to her back legs, like they were broken or something. She was like found in the street, and they were selling, the two kids were selling the cats, trying to make some money, and that she was the runt, and she was somehow broken, so she walks funny throughout the whole thing. And so she's this dirty little kitten, and the Dalai Lama just happens across her, and that becomes very important to wrap up the whole story.
It's sad.
I know, but it's happy.
Poor
It's happy.
kitty.
She's this sad little kitten, and like she has no siblings or anything left, and so. But
You're making me depressed. Stop it.
Everything turns around, and she becomes the Dalai Lama's cat.
This poor little broken cat in the street with her broken legs has no family. Oh, that's a great way to start a story.
But the Dalai Lama finds her, and,
Okay.
and they take her home,
And then he makes her fat.
and then they all make her fat.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but she does lose weight. She does better. But that's one of the lessons is moderation.
What other lessons does she learn?
She learns also not to be too presumptuous of spirit, and which basically is, there's another character who is like, so much Buddhism it hurts.
Oh.
And she's like, oh, this is a little much. And she's like, so what's funny is the way she learns that lesson, and I don't think I'm really spoiling it, just read it. This is just a funny part. So she's very focused. She's very vain. So she's cleaning herself very often.
Uh-huh.
And with all her vanity and all her cleaning herself, she's a very long-haired cat.
Uh-huh.
She irks up a hairball. So the moral of the story is, if you are too vain, you will literally make yourself sick. And I just love that analogy for vanity, is that you need to fuck up a hairball.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very creative way to kind of talk about this philosophy, and by doing it through the cat. Yeah, I would think it was a kid's book picking it up, though.
No, it's not. It totally
But you
is not.
didn't assume that picking it up.
I didn't, and maybe because also it was like it's a standard size paperback. It's not like squatty,
right?
We'll talk later about the shape of books too. The shape of book covers means a lot of things too. Like when they're squatty or tall.
And like when they're really oversized, if you even kind of tip that book over, the whole thing's just going to split in half.
Yeah.
I've actually watched that happen.
Same. don't make books so fat. Make it 2 books. Jeez.
Well, it's not just the fat. It's the wine. Like those DK, those giant books.
Oh yeah.
Those giant craft books, or like if you've seen the sidetrack, the illustrated like Harry Potter's and Percy Jackson's.
Yes.
Those things do not hold up. The binding is not, for how heavy those books are and how heavy the paper is for all that ink and art. The books cannot hold themselves together. The second a kid gets their hands on them, they break. And
I
we
don't
go
think they're
through
meant to be read.
so many of them because they're just
I don't think they're meant to be read. This book is meant to be read. It is small. It is nice.
but not squatty.
But not squatty.
So not a kid's book.
Not a kid's book. And those kinds of books that you're mentioning, I don't think they're meant to be read. I think they're coffee table
They're
books.
not, but they
They're meant to be
get
stuck on a
purchased because
shelf.
they're cool and people want them, and then they're the only ones left because Harry Potter is still popular a gazillion years later, and then kids check them out and they die.
Yeah.
Also, I watched a craft book one time fall off one of our shelves and just right on the floor because it just couldn't handle its own weight.
That's what we
Right in half. Yep.
Needs to be like the Dalai Lama's cat and learn moderation.
Less crafting.
I feel like that's something maybe you should take home with that.
You know, they're okay. That's rude.
That was my shot.
Wow,
at
she just
Mary.
called out my craft stash. Wow. They also have those really tiny craft books that are only like
Those are
a
precious.
quarter-inch big, and then you cannot shelve them because there's nowhere to put the spine labels.
Yes.
And also, there's like one craft in them, and what's the point of owning those?
Yeah.
Just go on Pinterest.
Yeah, for something like that, just go on.
It's fine. Now that we've detoured.
Now that we do it, we'll bring it back around. What are we going to be doing next? What is the next book you're going to do?
Well, the next book I'm doing, oh my god, I can't remember the title of it. I think it's called The Pumpkin Man. So we're actually, that's the next book I'm reading for this.
Oh, okay.
But we've got a couple things coming up. So the next episode that will be going out, I think we're going to be doing another topic episode where we talk about science fiction. And the podcast after that will be another live show.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing a live show at CocoCon in Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when that panel will be yet.
We don't know
will go out
yet.
on social media, the time and the date. And then we're going to record that, and that'll be going out as our September episode.
So if you want to be like participatory in the epicness of casing the cover, you should join us at CocoCon.
Yes. And we're actually going to see if we can convince some people. If you've ever seen a really weird book cover or a genre-bending book cover and you're coming to the CocoCon live show, bring it with you and let's see if we can guess what it is.
Yes.
Or what the genre is at the very least.
If you don't have the book itself, a picture of the book on your
Yes.
phone works too. Like,
Yes.
we understand that sometimes you see a book, you don't actually pick it up. I don't know who does that. We all grab that book.
Yeah.
We're all taking books.
But so what we'll be doing is we did our last live show. We'll each be kind of talking about a different book. I think I'm doing Wolf by Wolf. I think it's anybody that
Oh, yeah.
Reading 2 books at once is so much fun. And then...
And I will probably be doing the Little Shop of Lost Things.
which you are not enjoying.
I am not enjoying at all.
I think these episodes are a little more fun when we did not like the book.
I had fun with this episode.
I know you did, but...
Because we got to talk about
talking
cats.
about cats. I had fun with Hot and Badger too, and I liked that book. But so yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a lineup of what we've got coming up. We'll be posting information about our live show on our Facebook and Twitter, if I can remember that Twitter exists. I'm really bad about updating our Twitter feed. Some of you might have noticed.
Bug her on Twitter.
Yeah.
Mary's in charge of the social media.
I'm in charge of the social.
You do what you got to do to her.
If you really are desperate to get a hold of us, you can email us. That probably gets checked more, or Facebook message
Yes.
the page, and I will see those.
And what are those?
Casing the cover on everything. The Casing the Cover on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube. If you need to email us, casingthecoverpod@gmail. If you've seen a crazy looking book or title in the wild and you think we should be forced to read it, send it our way. Well, we're going to be needing suggestions because that will make our job a little easier.
What I have a
And we
feeling,
can stop bugging our coworkers.
right? Our coworkers are like, we found weird books, but
We have one particular coworker who's very good at finding the weird books.
yes.
And I'll go up to her and be like, okay, so can you find us this kind of book with this kind of cover? And like, you're real good at that. You can find the weird thing for me, right?
She loves
Right?
it. She
Right?
loves it.
Elbow.
Elbow.
But yeah, so follow us, find us, and hopefully by now, by the time this goes out, we're also on iTunes.
Oh yeah.
That's still a work in progress. But hopefully by the time this episode actually goes out, it will no longer be a work in progress. It'll be a finished thing. So you can find us on there too, which should be a little easier for some people.
Will we ever be on Pandora? I listen to
if I can figure out how to make it work.
That's totally not a plug for that company. Like, that's what I listen to.
Just really likes to stream on Pandora. Basically, I'm learning as I go. We'll get there.
That's exciting.
We'll get there.
Also, if anybody's really good at this kind of stuff and wants to help us out, we will buy you cookies. I won't make you cookies. Right? I won't make you cookies. You don't want that.
You're promising to feed people.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, God.
But I'm not
going to
gonna
have a milk and cookie social. And...
Milk and cookies.
We've gone off track. All right. So yeah, follow us on all of our places and things, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.